Okay, here we are in the final third video, and we will be completing the C drive to VM for both Windows 7 and Windows 10 tutorial and support package. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to click on the cheat sheet 2B as in boy, and this is going to show you what you need to set your disk to VHD cloning options to. Okay, note that we are not checking use VHDX. Okay, we are typing in a VHD file name of PC in all, it's supposed to be in all caps, pc.vhd. Okay. Okay, so we have all our settings correct. We did not check use VHDX. We did check use volume shadow copy, and you can see that we have the volume shadow copy as a label of system reserved, and we picked drive C. That must be checked. Do not check any other drives, okay, or it will fail. Now, I want to see this pc.vhd file on the desktop, so I'm going to click over here with the three dots and change directories, and just simply click over here to desktop. And now what I see is I have a file name of PC, but I want to type in .vhd, and it's all caps. And now I press save. Now we have the pc.vhd file. They changed it back to a lowercase, but it does have to be a all caps pc.vhd when you put it in your downloads folder and use Stealth VM to convert it. So now we're going to go ahead and press create because everything's all set correctly. And while it's creating, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so now the disk to VHD program is finished creating the pc.vhd file, and we were fortunate it actually did take the all caps. I'm going to go ahead and just move this down here because in step 3 it's going to show you what to do next. Okay, and I loaded step 3 for Win 7. That can actually be Win 7 and 10. And what we're going to do is load our external drive or our cloud drive over here. In this case, I'm emulating a cloud drive, and I just simply take this PCVHD file in all caps and drag it over to either my cloud drive or my external drive. And as you can see, I've already done it, and that's to save you time. Okay, and as you can see, I'm using the Series 11 Cinnamon version to finish up this video. Stealth VM and Virtualbox pretty much work the same across all the last many versions of Robolinux. This is an updated version of C drive to VM for Windows 7 and 10. So what we did was, in our file manager, we're going to go over to Documents, which is where we had moved our pc.vhd file. I was emulating a cloud server or an external drive by moving it to drive E, which equals your Linux documents folder. And of course you can load files from here, save files to here, do whatever you want. This is your drive E when you have Stealth VM running Windows. So there it is. Now I need to move it to my downloads folder, and of course I already did, so I didn't want to waste your time. And this is critical. The pc.vhd file must be in the downloads folder, and the downloads folder must be in English for those that are running foreign languages. So they would go to their home directory and they would create a folder in English called downloads with a capital D. So there we go. Now it's time to install our Windows 7 that we cloned, and it's a 64-bit version, so we're going to go to Stealth VM. Now, it is important for you to know that you must have already installed Virtualbox. As you can see, I already have it, okay? And you must have already installed Stealth VM in order to finish this process. So I'm going to go to Stealth VM, and I know that it's a Windows 7 64-bit, so that's option number 2D. And I'll go ahead and click it. Brings down a dynamic script, and this is not a license agreement. This is instructions for you to understand what's going on here, and I simply press yes. And now we are converting the image, and it's as you can see, a VHD file. That's a virtual hard disk file to a VDI, which is a Virtualbox disk image. And I'm going to pause while it's converting. It will only take a couple of minutes, but I'll pause nevertheless to save you time. And you will know that the conversion is complete when it asks you to enter the amount of RAM that you want to give your virtual machine. And I have 8 gigabytes here in this machine, so I'm going to give it half, which is 4,096. And I would recommend that you give Windows about 4 gigabytes, otherwise you'll be disk caching, and that's going to slow down your Windows considerably. So there we go, we gave it 4 gigabytes and we press OK. And that's going to be it. We're finished, and Windows 7 is now ready. If you want to create a shortcut, for Windows 7, we have a wonderful short FAQ for that, and it's not difficult to do. I'm trying to keep this video short, so I'm not going to go through that process. I'm simply going to highlight by left-clicking Windows 7 and press the Start button to show you that it's installed. And there, of course, it is. Now, it's missing the audio, and we do have to turn on audio in Virtualbox, and I'll show you how to do that in a second here. Okay. So there's 2 things left to do. Turn on the audio for Windows, and under devices up here you want to insert guest editions. I'll show you how that's done in a minute. Otherwise you won't be able to have all the drivers that come with Virtualbox. So I'm going to shut down Windows right now. Here's a neat trick I'll show you. Up on top left file, go to close and press power off machine. Okay, so we load Virtualbox and highlight by left-clicking Windows 7 and go down to audio. And we simply enable the audio output here. If you want to use your microphone, you enable audio input, and that's it. Now, the next time we load Windows 7, we'll hear it logging in, and you'll be able to use the speakers in your host system, which is Linux, from your VM, which is Windows. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. Okay, it's giving us a few messages here from Windows 7. Now I need to go and install, well, it wants me to restart, so I'm not going to do that until I've actually installed my guest editions. So devices at the top, at the bottom, insert guest edition CD, and you do have to download it. And of course it's a little redundant, it asks you to download it again. Once it's downloaded, you now have to wait for the installer to come up, the Virtualbox guest edition installers. And there is an FAQ for all this, but I might as well go ahead and put this in the C drive to VM for Windows 7 and 10 support package. Okay, so now we have to overwrite it, and we insert it, and here it comes. It should come up and tell us to install it. There we go. So now it highlights what you need to click on, run the VBox Windows Editions EXE, and we do that. And here you just take all the defaults, and yep, we install this. We need to install the device software. Those are the drivers, and we need to install more of them. It's kind of silly, so many options. You should just click install. But anyway, now we need to reboot in order to finish the installation of guest editions. And now that we've rebooted, we now can use the drivers that came with the guest editions, and of course most notably is going to be Resizing the Screen. So you just go down here to the bottom right and you just make it as large as you want it to be. And there are many options here under the view. You can go full screen mode. There's several things you can do. It's a good idea to get familiar with Virtualbox. And there you have it. Now we have completed the cloning process of a Windows 7 operating system into a pc.vhd file, and we use StealthVM to convert it into a VDI file so that you can use it inside Robolinux or any other Linux operating system that you can install Virtualbox and StealthVM, which is pretty much all of them. And that concludes this these tutorials, the 3 videos, and the C drive to VM for Windows 7 and 10. Thank you very much for watching this video and for your kind support. And I hope you have a lovely day, and may Yashua bless you greatly.